What is up, YouTube? It is Doc here, Docky Style Gaming, and I am back at it again with another GodFall video for you all today. And in this one, we're going to be taking a quick look at some of the ways to cheese some of these shard unlock requirements or criteria that you have to complete to exalt your Valorplates. With you needing to unlock every Valorplate shard to exalt just one Valorplate, I thought it'd be the smart choice to put out a guide and video to show you all how I cheesed a lot of these. And honestly, just some tips because I've been seeing a lot of people wondering and asking how to unlock some of these as well. So, without wasting any more of y'all's time, like I always say, let's hop straight into this video and straight into some of this cheese. Now, brief disclaimer, before you do any of these, make sure you are not in matchmaking. I don't know what has been going on since the new update launched, but the unlock requirements for some reason do not work in matchmaking. So if you've been doing these in matchmaking and haven't unlocked something, even exalted towers of trials, it's because you're in matchmaking. There's something happening, or maybe it was intended to be that way, but none of these will unlock in matchmaking for some reason. So if you want to unlock these with friends, you'll have to manually invite them to your squad. But going to matchmaking and trying to unlock some of these shards definitely don't work. But I just wanted to put that disclaimer out first before I got into some of these cheeses and some of these tips and tricks. But back to the main video. Now, first, let's start with one of the ones that I get asked the most, and it is how to parry Perilous attacks. Now, Perilous attacks in the game are blue attacks that enemies do, and this is required for one of your Aegis Horn shards, and you have to parry a certain amount of them. And you have to do it while you're in Ascended Towers of Trials. Now, typically this seems like this could be a pain in the ass step to do, but there are a couple enemy types to look out for that can pretty much guarantee that you'll always get them to proc a Perilous attack, or a blue attack. And the key to it is not killing them and just letting them charge up and pop it every time so you can parry it. Now, I got super lucky, and this is honestly what you should be looking out for, is whenever you're in Ascended Towers of Trials, make sure you have a Bane that allows it to spawn a mid-boss every elevator floor. Now, one of the mid-bosses that can guarantee do Perilous attacks is Excelsius. He's very good for parrying a lot of attacks, but I got even luckier, and on the first floor after the Bane, I got Tsubeku that happened to spawn a crap ton of the huge Abyssian Brutes. And every single one of them were popping their blue Perilous attacks, allowing me to parry these very, very early on in the Ascended Towers of Trials. So I managed to complete that in literally about 20 minutes in to Ascended Towers of Trials, maybe a little less if I'm being real, but honestly, that is one of the Banes you should look for, and those are two of the enemy types I'd definitely be looking for as well. Some of the Abyssian Brutes that can just charge at you from full screen with the blue attack, giving you enough time to prep for your parry, or Excelsius. Don't kill them, just parry. So keep them alive, stay alive, and start parrying. Now, moving on to another unlock criteria that I get a lot of people asking me about, it is how to consume almonds. Well, luckily there is a cursed ring that you can get from the Lightbringer game mode called the Heavenly Reversal, which makes this very, very easy. And all you have to do is pop a timing attack once you put a almond stack on an enemy, and boom, you consume them. Now, luckily there are some shards that allow you to consume as well, so if you have those unlocked, you can do that, but this ring is a lot easier because 9 times out of 10, you should always be using a timing attack. But one of the easiest strats I found is finding one of those shielded enemies, especially in Lightbringer, that takes no damage until you kill the enemies protecting him. But what is super dope about it is that you can still apply elements to him and consume them off him, meaning he will take no damage, but each time you consume still counts towards your unlock criteria. So essentially, you could just keep consuming off of him over and over and over again, and he won't die, and you'll get all of your unlocks for that criteria. So again, another very easy way to consume elements in game. Now, this cheese is something that I know a lot of people are going to be kind of salty. I didn't mention about this earlier, but if you catch my streams, which I do stream every single day, I did talk about it in them. But the Dreamstone with at least one Bane. Now, I know a lot of people are just like, well, I'll just do a Dreamstone until I get a Bane. Sure, you can do that. It'll take some time. But honestly, the easiest way to do this is by just aborting mission until you get the Bane. Now, the Bane is guaranteed for your boss fight at round 5. So all you have to do typically is play every round until you get to the 5th round, and then boom, fight the boss and you're good. Well, a much easier and much faster method, which I'm showing you in the background, just so you can see how fast it actually is to do this, is complete the very first round. Make sure you complete all the objectives just so you can stock up on your stability, and then abort every mission until round 5. Even though you abort the missions, you won't get any rewards or any loot, but it'll let you get to round 5, and by round 5, you'll already have a Bane. Meaning, instead of fighting essentially 5 bosses, you're cutting yourself down to only 2. The first one to stock up on stability, and then the last one for the actual shard unlock criteria. So if you are trying to complete Dreamstones with 1 Bane, this is the fastest method to do it. And honestly, because I just put it out in a video, they might patch this out. So, because just about every Valorplate, if not every Valorplate, has this requirement, if you haven't done it, I highly recommend you do it now, because it probably will get patched out to where you have to complete the entire Dreamstone run, instead of just aborting 3 of them until you get to the final boss. Now, something else to note with this as well is make sure you are doing different Dreamstones every time. I've had it to where it has bugged. If I do the same Dreamstone back to back, it might not count. So if you are doing this method, just make sure you do a different Dreamstone. So if you do a Solaris Dreamstone with this method, make sure you don't do another Solaris Dreamstone right after. Just do a different boss, and then you could go back to Solaris right after. But I noticed doing the same ones back to back tends to not count it sometimes. And this works for both volatile Dreamstones and your standard Dreamstones. Now, moving on to some of the melee unlock criteria for your shards. These aren't really cheeses, these are just some tips for some newer players that might not know what to do. First is defeating sundered enemies. Now, in order to do this, you have to have Sundered Slam unlocked. Luckily, it's just 1 skill point, so you can unlock it fairly easily. But all you have to do is charge it up, hit it around a bunch of enemies, and then kill those enemies you just hit. Once you do that, boom, that criteria will be unlocked. Another melee-based shard unlock criteria is defeating enemies while polarized. Now, polarized, you can tell when you are by looking at this meter right here. Once your weapon starts to glow blue, swap to it, and then get kills with it as fast as you can, depending on your duration. But as long as you still have this blue aura around your weapon when you swap to it, your weapon is polarized, and that is when you should be getting all of your kills. And doing so will complete that criteria for your shard unlock. Now, the last melee-based shard unlock criteria is one that I've been getting a lot of people talking about as well, and it is the shield bash enemies on Earth. Now, this does seem to be bugged in a sense. There's 2 things that might be stopping you from unlocking this. One, you might not have shield bash unlocked, which is the level 3 unlock on your skill grid for your shield attacks. So if you don't have that leveled up to at least 3, you're probably doing the wrong shield bash. And then the second thing I noticed that has stopped people from actually getting any progress on it is that they're doing it in free roam. For some reason, it does not count when you do it in free roam. You have to either do it in a Lightbringer, Spirit Realm, or Dreamstones, but doing it in just basic free roam does not count your progress. Even going to a hunt on your map will still count it, but free roam won't. So hopefully they change this or fix this a little later on, but those are 2 things I've noticed people not taking into consideration when they are doing this objective. So make sure you have shield bash unlocked on your level 3 skill for your shield attack, and make sure you're doing it on Earth, just not in free roam. But moving on to the last of these shard unlock criteria, let's move into the Spirit Realm related ones. First of which being, and I know is the most time consuming, is mid bosses in the Spirit Realm. Now, after doing a lot of testing with this, I've gathered that the first mid boss always spawns within the first 17 to 20 minutes of you starting up Spirit Realm. So the second you get into there, set a timer for 20 minutes, and between 17 to 20 minutes, you will guarantee a mid boss spawn. But while you're waiting on that timer, it's best to start overcharging some of these soul altars. And if you don't know what overcharging means, I made a whole video on that on my entire Spirit Realm game mode breakdown. But overcharging all of your altars and getting a overcharged Elder Soul will grant your final boss fight a mid boss as well. So that's an easy way to get 2 mid bosses within 20 minutes. Now, when you come back after that very first boss fight, the second time a mid-boss can spawn in the encounter is very random. I've tried multiple times and it is off every single time. So the smarter thing to do is to just do the 2 mid-bosses every 20 minutes. wait for the first one to spawn when you load in, and while you're waiting on that first one, start overcharging soul altars, so when you fight the boss, you'll also get a mid-boss giving you 2 bosses. Once you do that, leave, and then rinse and repeat. It's going to be much faster that way, and honestly, it's even much faster if you're running with a squad. And speaking of overcharged round bosses, that's how you get a overcharged round boss, is one that spawns with the mid boss, and it is by you overcharging multiple soul altars, which means filling all 3 slots on each of the pillars on that soul altar. And activating it and completing it will give you an overcharged Elder Soul to place in your Elder Gate. And you'll need 3 of those to spawn an overcharged round boss for your final fight. And then the last one that I want to talk to ties into all of this, but it's activating the actual Elder Gate. Now, you can actually do this a lot faster by just getting 4 souls, because all you have to do is put a soul in each of the pillars, and then you can activate it and you'll get a Elder Soul. You don't actually need to overcharge it, especially if you're running solo. It's a much faster method. Air Realm has so many chests at the spawn and a lot of soul altars right at spawn too, that you could just pick up 3 or 4 shards from any of those chests, place 1 in each of the pillars, start it up, and then bring the Elder Soul straight to the gate. And you'll have to do that 3 times total so that you can actually activate the Elder Gate. Once you activate it, you can go through, get to the boss fight, and leave. If you want to fight the boss, you can to get some of that extra loot, but if you don't want to, you could just leave and then rinse and repeat. But hopefully this will help some of y'all unlock a lot of your shards a whole lot faster. I've said this on stream before, but it is kind of BS that they require you to unlock every Valorplate to Exalt just the 1 or maybe even 2 that you want. I get the devs wanting players to play with every Valorplate in game, but they shouldn't force you to play and unlock every Valorplate shard just so you could get the cosmetics that you want for the 1 that you play, or to get maxed out shards for the 1 or 2 that you play. Honestly, they should have made it to where you can just unlock 2 for every Valorplate, and doing so will allow players to max out their Valorplate shards to 5 and exalt the Valorplates that they want, letting players still have a reason to play with every Valorplate in the game, but not forcing them to unlock every shard in the game. I thought the whole point of unlocking and exalting your specific Valorplates was to reward players for playing on their mains or spending a lot of time with them, but considering you have to play with everybody else just so that you can be rewarded for your Valorplate that you want to play with, it's like, come on. It's a very, very bad concept in my opinion, and the only thing that has truly bugged me with this update to no ends. So hopefully these tips and tricks help you unlock this a lot faster, because again, I do think this unlocking method to exalting is very wonky, especially for some of the OG players. Newer players, it's not too bad because they're going to be coming in playing with some of these Valorplates and unlocking them throughout story modes, gameplay, and things like that because they're new. But for OG players, some of us might have already done multiple Lightbringer runs, or might have already unlocked so many Slight Caches throughout months and months of playing the game. So for us, it's kind of like punishment because we got to redo this all over, whereas new players are going to be experiencing this for the first time. So it's not going to be as tedious for them as it is for some of the OG players. But again, if this helped, let me know in the comment section below. And if there's any other unlock requirements that you're curious on, let me know down there too, and I'll try and help you out in the comment section below. Other than that though, I will catch you all on the next one, guys. Be sure to leave a like if you liked the video. If you didn't, still leave a like because nobody's going to see that dislike. And if you aren't in the Discord, be sure to follow that. Link is in the video description. We have guides, builds, LFGs for all things Godfall, games I cover on the channel, and some games I don't. So if you're on PlayStation, PC, or Xbox looking for people to play with, the Discord is definitely the place to be at. And also, I stream every single day on Twitch, or just about every single day. So if you're not following my Twitch channel, I highly recommend you do. Link to that is in the video description as well. Other than that though, guys, I will catch you all on the next one. Thanks for the love. Thanks for the subs. Peace.